Well, hello, my friends, and welcome to Victoria 3. I've been wanting to play this game for a ridiculously long amount of time, and I'm happy that we finally get that opportunity. So, we're going to be playing as Brazil. That's right. I want to play as Brazil, and for any Portuguese viewers, Brazilian viewers, bem-vindos e vamos tentar jogar como poderoso Brasil aqui neste jogo. Let's try to play as strong Brazil here, bringing it out of just being a typical minor power into one of the superpowers here of the world. At least that's what we're hoping for. Now, obviously, for those of you that don't know, there is an observe button, which I really think that Paradox has needed to put in for a long time. So, like, let's say you don't really even want to play, you just want to kind of watch. You can absolutely do that. Now, guys, we do right away have a war going on. It's called the Ragamuffin War. And essentially, we are fighting against the Piratini rebels. These are people trying to form a republic over here in southern Brazil. We are not going to allow that. But what we have to do is we actually have to get some generals to head over here and get into the war. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We also have unused construction production. What we really want to look at is essentially what's making the most money. Now, there's a few different ways to do that. You could actually just kind of look through each individual product. But right here, I can get a pretty good idea by just seeing how many coffee plantations we have. It is a ridiculous amount of coffee plantations. Now, we are using slaves as laborers. I know it's awful, but we are currently an empire of sorts. So I'm going to expand those coffee plantations, and actually, I thought we'd get a profit, but we can see the estimated profit here, and it's really not that great. So I'm just going to go through a few of our different products and see if anything is going to sell well right now. See, we might really have to stick with very simple products, like, for instance, wood. So let's take a look here at the logging camps, for instance. And once again, room for growth as well as growth is pretty bad. So I'm going to just wait right now. We absolutely want to get a building going, but I'm going to give it some time. We'll take a look at our political system too, but right now I am focused on the Ragamuffin War. We're going to go ahead and mobilize all of our generals, guys. So let's do this. Get them up and running, and we can actually send these generals to the various fronts. And I'm going to just take a look here. So we've got one front over here in Grão-Pará, and one front down here in Piratini. I'm actually going to go ahead and activate our conscripts in Bahia and also in Ceará. And then I'm going to jump over here, and I am going to advance the front against the Piratini rebels. So we're going to do that right there. We've got another general over here, and this one is Pierre Labatut, which, that's a French name, not a Portuguese one. But we're going to have him also advance the Maranhão front. So that's in the north here. And hopefully that's going to be sufficient to kind of keep the rebels at bay. Now, we do have active research we need to focus on, military research, societal research, and of course, standard production. I'm going to be going for standard production because we already have a monopoly on sugar. So we're essentially producing, if not the most sugar in the world, a great deal of sugar in the world. So I'm actually going to go ahead and try and improve our agriculture. We're going to go for intensive agriculture. I want to see if this affects sugar farms. It actually doesn't. It's only rye farms, wheat farms, and rice farms. So let's stay away from that for now. We will come back to that, however. The Bessemer process would unlock steel mills, which we do need. And fractional distillation, I think we're going to go with maybe the lathe here. This unlocks dye workshops, canneries, mechanical tools, and we need all of those things to, of course, advance as a nation. Now, I'm going to jump back to politics and just kind of show you guys the situation. We've actually got an emperor known as Pedro da Bragança. Yeah, it's an empire, but it's not really a powerful empire, if that makes any sense. It's sort of an empire in name only. Currently, we do have a tremendous amount of opposition, actually led by the landowners at 25% and the industrialists. Clearly not folks that are particularly happy with us. That being said, let's advance here, folks. Right now, really the biggest cause for concern is the wars going on. And we could actually recruit yet another general here. I think I'm going to get Isaias de Fonseca. And we can actually add him to one of the current wars, or simply allow those wars to go on kind of on their own. So here we go. We're actually taking a look at one of the fronts. How you doing, Dave? That's right, distillation and then down the rye road. But I do want to actually get some production going. The thing is, once again, we want to make sure we're producing the correct things. We want to make sure something actually produces, you know, an income for us. And I'm thinking a port might not be such a bad idea. Adding an additional port right here in Bahia. So let's do that. Now, if we take a look at our actual income, we are above right now. We're actually making a substantial income, and I think that's because of our timber and our sugar. Of course, since we have, you know, the rainforest right there, we can get as much timber as we need, and that's a tremendous amount of money, of course. Take a look again at the Ragamuffin War. All right, we're going to continue here. We're going to increase speed just a little bit. And I'm going to jump over to the military screen once again. Now, we certainly could use some more assistance over here. So I'm going to mobilize another general and send him to that actual front in the north. So we're going to move him to the Grão-Pará front. And hopefully he's going to be able to assist us there quite a bit. So there's actually active battles. I really like this element. So a lot of people were kind of complaining about the warfare or whatever. This is kind of what you get in the active battles. We're actually losing one of these battles at the moment. But this is a good example of sort of what it looks like. Let's see. Expensive military goods. We're doing okay. I thought we were doing okay in the north. Now I'm not so sure. Let's jump over to the Ragamuffin War. Make sure we have everybody in combat, and we certainly do. We are winning in the north, I believe, not so much in the south against the Piratini rebels. Okay, slowly, both of those wars are turning around. We can see that. We're slowly pushing those rebels off our territory. And we really don't want to lose the Grão-Pará area here in the north. We also don't want to lose the Piratini area. Actually, this is an area fought over by Argentina and Brazil for a very, very long time. So having that under our control would be fantastic. And this is something I also really love. So, like, as you're winning the battles, you see how the Brazilian flag starts to conquer their territory. So we get, like, a visual representation of how far our armies are moving. Now, I want your guys' honest opinion, because a lot of people have been quite upset about this. And that, not the slavery, they're fine with that. You guys are Victoria 3 players. But the battle system and the warfare system, it's very different. I'm still kind of getting my head around it, but let me know what you think. In any case, slaves have risen up in Paraná. They are not a significant force yet, and there are multiple ways to approach them. So we could either negotiate with them to defuse this, or say we do not negotiate with insurrectionists. Now, all this is going to do is actually increase the slave population to radical. So it's going to upset them a bit more, but that's what I'm going to do. We can't deal with insurrectionists right now. That's a situation to deal with a little bit later, I believe. Not at this moment. Now, I do want to go ahead and expand our market. So I'm going to jump into unused construction production, and I'm simply going to increase a construction sector over here in Rio, and maybe also one in Paraná, since we're going to be building there afterwards. So let's just get that area ready for construction. Hello, Calum. It's not out yet. It's out on the 28th. I just am a lucky, lucky boy. What can I say? How you doing, Ezekiel? So actually, Ezekiel, I believe it was Ezekiel, may have been somebody else that was mentioning that they were definitely concerned about the warfare aspect of this game. So right now, the peace deal has been offered to us by the Paraná rebels. These guys are, of course, led here by this gentleman, President Eduardo Angelim, another Brazilian. So he is Portuguese. He's Catholic. Really, the only disagreement he has with us is he doesn't want an empire, he wants a republic. And we have no interest in a republic. So I'm going to continue the war. I'm just going to let him essentially capitulate. You don't have to discuss anything with them. You can just force them to surrender. And there we go, guys. They have capitulated. And we have won the Ragamuffin War as well. So 2 victorious wars. It's even being reflected in our economy, slightly going up, and we can look at the balance of our actual assets there and watch how it increases. And you can see those gold reserves just increasing little by little. Taffer's Tower, how you doing, bud? He says, I'm neither impressed nor upset about it. Yeah, I think that's kind of where I stand at the moment. I still want to experience it more to really get a good idea, but here's my best explanation of what I see when I look at the war, right? It's almost like the big thing, I think you guys will agree with this, the big thing about Victoria is politics and trade. Those are the most important elements of the game. I guess you could also argue that, like, colonization is a really important element of the game, but it's mostly politics and trade. And I think, totally subjective here, by the way, I think that the Paradox team was trying to, like, put an emphasis on that. So, like, basically not have us focus much on the military aspect. I think that's what they were trying to do. Now, I want to look over here at distillation, because, again, like Dave said, we have sugar. That's one of our best products. So going down the distillation path might be a good idea. And we also have mechanical tools here, which allows us to get some steel tools, etc. But I'm going to stick with the fractional distillation. And after this, I want to jump back to society. We haven't put enough focus into our society, and you can see how massive these trees are. I'll just go down for you guys. Pretty big trees here for each country. Let's continue here. Let's take a look. So Minas Gerais is experiencing a lack of market access. I'm not going to worry too much about that right now. So what this does, if we add a construction sector, we sort of prepare the area for construction. And we need to go ahead and it's going to increase the state construction efficiency. So I'm going to put a construction sector over here in Bahia, which is another very important Brazilian state. In fact, let's put them in Pernambuco as well. And Sierra, actually not Sierra, Rio Grande do Norte. Let's put one there. It's going to be expensive, but I think this is going to make way for construction in the future. And there we go. So we have defeated the Ragamuffins, guys. I'm going to let you, the viewers, decide what we do with these insurrectionists. What do we do with the remaining survivors? Not all the suggestions have been especially charitable. War tends to do that to men. Some commanders smile next to the tents, their lips curved with a triumphant pleasure. Some others argue that enough blood has already been spilled. They're mocked the next evening. The rest watch in silence, which could arguably be worse. Do we integrate them into our country, or do we ostracize them? What do you guys say? Kami Squid, that's right. So he makes a great point. So industrializing will help us free the slaves. Obviously, slavery is terrible, but it's an unfortunate necessity for our empire. If we didn't use it, we wouldn't have enough workers to do pretty much anything. Particularly, we wouldn't have enough workers to take care of our sugar plantations. So what do we do with these ragamuffins? They've lost this war in the south, and they also attacked us in the north. It was sort of a joint revolution. And we need to teach them a lesson. You know, I think... So this option will automatically be picked after 24. I think we're going to ostracize them. I made your guys' decision for you, because I can't accept it. We can't have these guys hanging around. We need to show anybody that's going to rise up against the Empire that they are going to be dealt with swiftly. We do have low market access, and I believe this is going to be Minas Gerais. It certainly is. One thing we could do is, I don't think we can build a port here. Maybe we can. Maybe it's like a river port. We need to get something that can bring stuff in. And artillery from the British Empire is unproductive. So we're going to create a new export or import route, or export route, I should say. We're actually selling liquor to them, but I'm going to go ahead and do a new export route. Oh, maybe it is a new import route. So for artillery, here we go. Let's go for the French market. It's a little less expensive than the British market, and it will get us that artillery that we're looking for. And let's just see if we can get one more export route here, because they were interested in alcohol, or at least the Venezuelans are. And this is one way we can actually increase our profitability in South America. So I'm going to export alcohol to Venezuela. Of course, it's going to take some time, but that will bring in some additional funds. You can see that money is jumping around, but we're still on top. We're still making a profit. And of course, building a tremendous amount of new markets here. Not trading coconuts for the rice and butter, I got you. Now, we do have to be concerned, because if we look up here, our bureaucracy is not good. We need to do something about this. So we can increase law enforcement's investment level. It's going to take us some time, because we need 50 bureaucracy to do it. So we could actually enact the right of assembly. We could allow people to come out, and this might improve our corruption level. It might somewhat improve our bureaucracy, allowing people to come out and protest. But I'm not sure we're ready for that. Now, wealth voting. And this would be enacting suffrage. So I believe it's allowing women to vote here. Let's do it. Let's see if this improves anything. However, as you can see, the opposition for it is substantial. So we really want to go for stuff that is you know, popular with the people. This is not really popular with anybody, fortunately. All right. Hey, I'm not the one doing it. It's not my fault that the people don't want women to vote. That is not me doing that. I want to be very clear about it. It's my people that don't want it, okay? All right, let's see. And again, this one is also unproductive, so we might just want to shut down this trade route entirely. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to shut down the British trade route at least. We'll still bring in the French cannons so that we do have cannons. And let's go for a new export route. I'm just taking a look to see if there's anything profitable here, and look at that. If we export coffee to the British market, 26.9 is going to come in. This is substantial. So let's do that. I'm going to start selling to the British here. Might also get some additional buildings up. So it doesn't look like we have many livestock ranches. Not many cotton plantations either. We can try to maximize one of these. First, we're going to see if they are profitable in the slightest. That's simply not profitable. And while this is kind of a frustrating element of Victoria's system to have to go through here, it's something we got to do. And we can see here in Rio Grande do Norte, we can start making a profit, although small, by building another cotton plantation. So I'm going to get one going up there. Absolutely beautiful. This is a lot like one of those situations where you have to put in some money to make some money. You know, as you can see, we're going to be running at a negative for a bit. We're going to have to find ways to make that up. And one way to make that up is actually to increase taxation. I'm not sure I'm prepared to do that at the moment, though. So we're going to keep things pretty cool. And we can declare additional interests, guys. So what that means is essentially we let the world know that we want to take this part of the world. We already have declared interest in Northwest South America. I am simply going to declare interest in La Plata, which is going to be Argentina, Chile, I believe. Yep, Chile. So all of those countries, we're just letting them know that the Empire would like to expand eventually. It's not a direct threat. It's more of like a wish list, you know? If in the best case scenario, this is what we would like. Let's take a look at that censorship law. I just think it's hilarious that our people are, like, against freedom of assembly. Now, this is something we could actually go for, a dedicated police force. We're going to increase the chance of getting this dedicated police force to make sure that the crime greatly is reduced in our country. And you can see, for the most part, people support this. So I am going to enact that, guys. And it's going to be -5 radicals from standard of living decreases and -15 state penalties from turmoil. So this is going to be especially useful in a situation of revolution or uprising, etc. No worries, Ezekiel. How you doing, Odinot? Good to see you, bud. If you guys look at the right side there, you will see the chance to actually pass this law. And another thing we could do here is enact poor laws. So there's no Social Security. I cannot afford Social Security at the moment, but that is something for us to consider. It seems that it's got pretty significant support from the people. You know, as the people get older, they realize that, listen, what am I going to do when I'm an old person and need some support from the government? So that might be something we have to pass eventually. I'm going to just jump into the political tree here and take a look. We could reform the government. I've never attempted this, but considering our bureaucracy, I wonder if reforming the government would fix this entirely. Another issue, I was going to say it's from lack of incorporated states, but I think everything is incorporated. How is this game compared to Victoria 2? Well, one thing I think is good is it's quite different. There are a lot of similarities, but there are definite differences, and I was kind of expecting almost a carbon copy. I think that's kind of what most people were expecting. So they've done something different here. Whether it's good or bad, I'll let you guys decide. So the chance of actually succeeding here for the local police force is quite low, actually. That might increase over time, of course, but it will go to a debate. Now, in terms of reforming, let's take a look here. Could either focus with laws with governmental or movement support. I think that's what we should focus on. Simply nothing we can really focus on right now because we are looking at the dedicated police force. So let's just do that. Right now, we're really trying to improve the police force. All right, let's back up. Oh my goodness, a whole lot of wars going on here. I just realized this. Great Britain versus Great Qing. And actually, it looks like Qing is winning that war. China beating the British in the Opium Wars, it seems. All right, we just unlocked paddle steamers. That's going to be useful later on, just to transport, our trade goods, etc. I'm actually going to look through the trade lens here, and what I want to do is add another port, and also add a construction sector. Now, again, we can't get that port in Minas Gerais. It's such a shame, too, because this is where we really need the port, right? However, increasing it in Rio over time is going to help us, though we don't need it at this moment. So let's focus on a construction sector. We're going to throw a construction sector in Rio. This is, of course, our capital. And I'm going to look at getting another tea plantation or a tobacco plantation, whatever is going to make money. Now, the productivity here is quite high for some of these coffee plantations. So even though they don't make a profit on that immediate screen, it does suggest that over time, these will make a profit. It's just going to take some time. Same with the banana, for instance. Nothing to really invest in now, though. We gotta wait just a little bit. Trade does change over time, for sure. Kami Squid is asking, would rum be an option for Brazil? How is the heavy industry in Brazil? You know what? We're gonna take a look. I'm glad you asked. What seems to be our main producers, our main products, are actually sugar and wood. So we've got a ton of wood. If we look here over on the detail screen, this really gives you a good idea of what people are buying. Don't be confused by this, though, because if you look at, typical commodities like grain, for instance, of course it's going to be quite high. You want to look at stuff like this, coffee. So see, coffee is a luxury good. That's quite high. And you can see the market price has slightly increased, although it's remained pretty stable, honestly. If we look at something like, for instance, the wheat, it's also remained pretty stable. I'm trying to find a product that has varied dramatically. And it's probably the fabric. The fabric has increased and decreased at a great rate. What I'm looking at now is getting some additional sugar. But we could also focus on that additional coffee. Coffee is so damn popular here. Let's go for another export trade route for our coffee. Let's sell to the American market. So we're already selling to the British market. I think expanding our sales to the American market is the way to go. We do need to improve that bureaucracy, but there's not much we can do at the moment. I think the law enforcement situation, once that is improved, will be a lot better off. Hermes Galvão has challenged Martim Francisco Ribeiro de Andrada. That is a long name to a duel to the death. That's even a long name for Portuguese people. The aura surrounding the two figures is like something out of a romantic novel. Martim Francisco Ribeiro de Andrada smiles. He's been rehearsing the moment before falling asleep. Hermes Galvão, you are a friendless bastard. And we can actually say this in Portuguese, so it's Hermes Galvão, tu és parvo sem amigos. Your insults cannot go unanswered. Pick a weapon of choice and we shall meet tomorrow. So this is deciding whether or not we're going to allow dueling in our society or not. And you know what? It's going to piss off the landowners, but I am going to ban dueling. Simply not something we can allow in a civilized country, and I want to make sure that we are a civilized country, quite simply. Let's also take a look here at some import trade routes. So these really become important when you are mixing goods to create a good. So when you're trying to create steel, for instance, if you lack a copper or something, you can always bring it in from another country. I think, considering we have a tremendous amount of natural resources in Brazil, the only thing we really need are cannons and weapons from outside of Brazil. That's pretty much it. Vamos olhar aqui. Might be time to increase the income tax a little bit. We do have the unused construction production, so let's focus on potential development here. What about urban centers? So this is something actually I haven't looked at, and that is like the urban, the industrial centers here, the furniture manufactories, the textile mills. We got a tremendous amount of wood, so I'm thinking that furniture manufactory, oh, look at that, in Rio Grande do Norte. We're going to build a furniture manufactory, and I'm actually going to pop back here, see what else we can focus on. And we could put one in Rio Grande do Norte, but it's not going to make much money. The trade center, look at that. Now, government administration, it's going to pay off eventually. It's going to take time to pay off. So we're going to go ahead and dump some more government admin there in Rio, the capital. Hello, Nestor Magno. Dangerous to have anarchists around here. Okay, it looks like the Conservative Party was actually voted in. Now, this doesn't change our Emperor Pedro de Bragança. Pedro de Bragança remains Emperor. It's sort of like a sort of republic mixed with an empire, if that makes sense. We do allow voting, but simply for the cabinet. I guess a constitutional monarchy would be the closest thing here. All right, so there we go. It looks like the Opium Wars have ended over there between China and Great Britain. Glad that mess is over with. Let's go ahead and push right through. Free government reform. Hey! Due to recent election, your next government reform will not result in any new radicals, as long as it is done within the above time limit. That is freaking awesome! Alright, let's see. So I actually think, don't we just go right through with dedicated police force? Currently being enacted. That's what I'm thinking. Very cool. Alright. Now, unfortunately, success chance is 1.3%, you know. Not very good. Make sure that actually goes through. So we could actually cease enacting. It's going to take 125 days to enact. Since it's not, well, I mean, maybe we'll just let it go through. I'm kind of tempted to take something else. But if you look over here, nothing else has so much popular support. Our people do not want universal suffrage. They don't want an end to slavery. Some do want property women. So despite them not wanting women to vote, it does seem that about a third of our people strongly support a woman's right to own property. So that's probably something we're going to look at next. But for now, we're going for the dedicated police force. I don't think it's like the UK at all. And the reason being is the emperor does have a substantial amount of political power in Brazil. But it's not a real empire, right? It's kind of just, they call it an empire, but it's really more of like a large constitutional monarchy with a great degree of corruption. Let's put it that way. Here we go, enacting dedicated police force. Okay, Emperor intervenes in the political process, so this is where we get to step forward. We get to decide on the police force. Pedro de Bragança seldomly intervenes directly in matters of law, relying instead on a system of delegation and personal influence for the efficient running of his realm. While legally the emperor may exercise his royal powers at will, doing so is sure to rile up Republicans and opponents of the law in question. The emperor's will be done. We are going to get the royal decree, and we are going to enact dedicated police force. Now, it looks like there's actually people that want to preserve the current police force. We can't worry about them, guys. We can't advance a country concerned about what everybody thinks. It's just not going to work out very well. Now, we'll take a look here at the Clippers. I actually want to go ahead. We don't actually have any... No, we do have some buy orders. Shame on me. We're not a significant producer, and we don't particularly use them much. Let's protect the local supply. I mean, we don't even really need to. This is the problem. We aren't actually, as far as I can tell, we're not selling this to anybody. However, we can use these at our whaling stations. We don't have any whaling stations. Let's take a look at that. Can we even get whales? Maybe this is not the best area for whales. Let's proceed here. Okay, so see, this is what we actually do need to purchase, and that is small arms. So I'm actually going to import small arms from the British. Now that they're done with their opium wars, they will be able to, of course, bring that in. And I believe that they do that in British Guyana, or is it British Suriname? Right here, they just bring in the weapons, and right into Brazil it goes. Fantastic. Wait a minute. All right, guys, we can focus back on tech. Now, I do want to increase our overall trade routes, so the stock exchange is always a really good thing to focus on. It's also in the society tree and not in the production tree. Make of that what you will. We could also try to focus on colonization. Now, I don't think we're strong enough to do colonization, but at 9, guys, we are pretty close to being a major power. I think we're 2 or 3 countries away from being considered a major power. So this is something we want to focus on later. Maybe nationalism, for instance. Start getting some real support in the country. And I want something to combat the bureaucracy. So I'm almost looking around to see if anything here can combat bureaucracy. But I think that's only going to happen over time. So, modern sewage, hey. Plus 10 maximum infrastructure. This is pretty good. But I can't help but pick stock exchange first. So there we go. My eye is on the money. Which, speaking of which, you can always super chat in this particular Let's Play if you feel like it, if you're so inclined. Okay, let's just focus on individual states here, just to see what they want. And if we look at their buildings, this is another way to go ahead and purchase things, guys, is simply go into the actual state focuses. We can see how many cotton plantations they have, quite a few of these. So maybe, for instance, a clothing factory would be something to focus on, you know? I'm looking over here. What I'm really looking for is exactly a clothing factory, but I'm not seeing one. I want to try to pair it up with something that we're producing here. The furniture would be great if we had a substantial amount of logging camps in Pernambuco, but we don't. Let's see. Let's go to Rio. See, despite Rio being our capital, it doesn't have that many exotic goods. All right, this has coal mines. I think steel mills would be the appropriate investment, but as you can see, the predicted earnings, this is another thing that'll let you know whether to purchase something, are minus 5.64, so it would work out terribly for us. Hey, Steven, bem-vindo ao stream de Brasil. Welcome, my friend. No worries, we're still going to continue, and this is going to be definitely a live stream exclusive. If you guys like it and want to see more, like, super chat, subscribe, do all that stuff, and we will make another episode tomorrow. Because there's no way we're playing through this entire thing. This game takes a long time. So steel mills, no good. What about food industry? No good. So furniture manufacturers are only slightly losing money. I get the feeling that over time, these are going to make money. Nonetheless, we are not in a position to take that risk. Put it that way. The other thing I'm thinking about the government administration, though, guys, is it's going to improve our overall bureaucracy. So I'm also kind of considering just focusing on government administration. Steel mills, arms industry. I think I'm going to drop the furniture manufacturer here. I'm sure over time it's going to make us a profit. It's going to take some time, but over time we are going to generate a profit because of it. We've got a lot of logging camps here. In fact, I'll add another one, and that is going to supply that industry. All right, still enacting that dedicated police force. Only a 22% chance of success. See, even with the input of the Emperor, that may not be enacted. So we're doing our best, but I don't think so. I don't think it's going to work out. So it actually has support from the rural folk, the armed forces, the intelligentsia, and the petite bourgeoisie. But it seems the landowners are against this dedicated police force. They kind of want to, you know, police their own territory, their own private territory. We are enacting that law, so it does seem like it's probably going to go through. All right, backroom dealings exposed. Now, I love this political intrigue that jumps in at the game. Prominent members of the petite bourgeoisie, outspoken supporters of the dedicated police force, and close allies of Bernardo Pereira de Vasconcelos have been exposed in a corruption scandal, having exchanged political favors for personal gifts. This is the problem. The petite bourgeoisie support the dedicated police force, and so do we. So what does that mean? So is the nature of politics. Now, that lowers enactment success chance, which kind of sucks, since we ignore corruption. But this will also lower bureaucracy, man. We've got to stop this corruption, and I hate to say that. Oh, great. Sorry, I'm going to deal with this bag of shit. We got to deal with this, you know? Let's remove that. Just going to hide you. I'm so nice, I'm not even going to ban them. It's becoming a real problem here on YouTube, this sort of nonsense. Definitely don't click those links. All right, let's jump back. I'm going to throw them to the wolves. I hate to do this because we really, really like these guys, and they support us, but this will lower our bureaucratic issues. I think sort of improve our bureaucracy. It's really the only issue we have. Napoleonic Warfare unlocked. That's what I'm talking about. Hold on one sec, folks. Let me also drop this in Discord. I think you guys probably already saw it in Discord. Thank you, Dave. Yeah, if you could just ban them. We like to give folks a chance, but with a name like that, I don't think they're looking for one. All right, here we go. I'm amazed at that interest in preserving the local police force. That is really unfortunate. Improving life for our lower strata is also going to be a big, big deal here. They are just not living good lives. And it looks like we also unlocked some additional research. But first, let's get that construction focus. Let's see here. Let's jump back to the urban centers. I want to focus on those textile mills. Ah, I didn't want to do that. So Para, this is another one of our regions here, really needs a textile mill. We're going to go ahead and get that built. Those focuses for like textile mills, things like that, I guess the basic industry, they're pretty easy to put together. It's the more complex stuff like rum, things like that, that are a real challenge. And here we go, empiricism unlocked. Don't mind if I do. However, we are going to have to mess around here. You can see our balance is jumping down quickly, almost a bit of a recession. So I'm going to actually increase taxes. And we might lower military wages a bit here. That's right. You got to do what you got to do to save money. And we're not at war at the moment, so I am going to kind of get in there myself and mess around a bit. Just exactly. Just about. We cannot sell the fabric. This really only has to be used in our local market. Maybe invade Uruguay. I'm not thinking of any sort of invasions at the moment, though if it was somebody, it would be Paraguay. Their attitude towards us is antagonistic. So what we can do, we can start showing our attitude. By going ahead and expelling diplomats, damaging relations. That's what we're going to do. We're going to expel their diplomats, get rid of these Paraguayan diplomats, and we are going to damage relations. That's right. They're a much larger country. However, for those of you that know Paraguay's history, what I'm doing here may not be a very wise choice. Let's put it that way. Now, Paraguay did lose a war, a massive war, in South America, but these guys went to war with, like, literally everybody. They were just like, we're gonna fight you all, and they did. They lost, but they were pretty vicious. Ah, cheers, Odonaut. So maybe we will not industrialize anymore. That's actually a good bit, a good suggestion. Now, our income is fine right now, but a newspaper called the Para Observer has printed a bigoted article about the Afro-Brazilian people living there. We can suppress the article, or we can let it be released. We're gonna ignore it. We can't lower authority here. We are just awful. We are just so awful. We've supported slavery. We have opposed women's suffrage. We are just the worst. So there we go, guys. The stock exchange has been unlocked. I was looking for this, and this is fantastic. We can actually start going down the free trade route very soon here. Now, as for active research, I want to do something that is going to either increase, or I should say decrease our interest rate. This is going to decrease our loan interest rate. Or also improve our situation, our bureaucracy. And you can see that's actually getting better, guys. I'm not sure. You want to know something? Part of that has to do with simply one of our ruler's traits, which is meticulous. So he's actually making sure that corruption is going down. But nationalism looks pretty great, too. Egalitarianism? Yuck. Sorry, when you're a ruler, all of these progressive ideologies suddenly don't seem that great. Now, we can also focus on realism, because this will increase our prestige, and we are, despite being, that's not something that should be happening in the Victorian era, despite being over here, prestige-wise, we need to go ahead and try and get into the major country ranking. So once we get into the major country ranking, we can do any number of things. We can actually try to colonize, etc. But that's not really my main focus. I'm still looking at banking. We already have quite a focus here in banking, so I'm just going to do it. We're going to unlock it quite quickly, but then we'll jump back into the societal research. Or, excuse me, the industrial research. Excuse me for a moment, folks. I gotta go plug this in. Help Agrippa afford a new screen and super chat. I'll be right back. This way I don't have to just look at my phone every time. Really sucks. I will have to do it the old-fashioned way, folks. Here, messages here for a bit. Of course, that happened. Doorknob fell off. Things are just falling apart here, my God. So I actually am very pleased with how our bureaucracy is doing, with how our income is doing. Guys, we are climbing. I mean, really climbing here. Look at that balance. Look at that balance. I mean, that's exactly what you're looking for, right? That upward trajectory, and our gold reserves are also increasing. So this isn't simply interest on existing funds. This is like actual money going into our bank account. It's fantastic. So I'm going to jump over here and actually get some more buildings going. Now, about those textile mills, that does have me a little worried. Or about the industrialization, that's got me a little worried. So maybe we shouldn't even mess with these right now. I'm starting to think you might have a point. Now, let's look at the cotton plantation. Somebody mentioned cotton earlier, and there is room for growth, but it's not much. I'm thinking most of the cotton actually is coming from the Americas, North America. I don't think we control that trade. Now, the coffee trade, on the other hand, you can see here, we're doing quite well in that. 22 different areas, of course. Let's do some export trade routes. So let's actually start selling clothes to the American market. We just built those factories, so it's a good time to go ahead and get an additional country on our list of people to sell to. We'll be heading north with that clothing and selling it to the Americans. Again, enacting that dedicated police forces just has a snowball's chance in hell of passing. And there we go. We've got mining, 10% increase in mining unlocked, but really my next focus. So central banking, minting, pardon me. Postal savings will increase our maximum cash reserves. The modern sewage is just fantastic. Plus 10 max infrastructure, plus 5 construction sector max. But I'm thinking I want to jump into production here and just see what else we can get. Again, we've got sugar. Canneries for food industries looks extremely important. Especially since we're in a fairly warm climate. So I'm going to go for the canneries. And again, I'm very happy with this increase of influence, bureaucracy, etc. But we need to get even more buildings up and going. So for an additional production lens, About a coffee plantation. No, 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 no. You know what? Let's get some government administration. It's going to cost us money, but we are not going to be taken seriously unless we have substantial government administration in these areas. Got 6 in Rio. Let's put some here in Maranhão. And a university wouldn't be a bad idea either. Of course, this does cost money. It looks like a liberal party was just founded within our country, so our political system, as we're unlocking these new laws, is growing, you know, little by little. And Felipe de Oliveira actually leads the intelligentsia. I really love how each of the political factions in this game has their own leader. I think that's, like, freaking awesome, you know? This guy's got his own ideology, his own interest group, his own role. It's just really, really cool. Took our jobs, our pets' heads are falling off. Yeah. Well, we're doing fine. I mean, in terms of, like, actual income, our country's doing fantastic. The only thing that I'm slightly concerned with is I want to get us back into the possibility of getting a great power, but we can unlock that with research, getting prestige. So for now, I'm not going to really mess much with it. We can even put our taxes back to normal, so I'm going to actually put the taxes back to medium. Ooh, look how quickly that dropped our income. Holy crap! Give it some time. Let's see if it settles. If it doesn't, we'll bring that back. Yeah, see, we're losing our power rank, and this is because of the prestige. So we can do that by increasing GDP, one of the ways to do that, increase taxes, and also by getting additional trade goods, etc. But I think increasing GDP and unlocking that research is going to have to be our focus. So there is a research romanticism we can unlock, which is going to improve our prestige substantially. I can't wait to unlock it. We also got another election coming up, my friends. It looks like the Conservative Party is going to win again, but that Liberal Party is gaining some popularity. Of course, them winning would change our economy to a complete free market economy. That could change things. All right, in the midst of the debate surrounding dedicated police force, one of the country's leading playwrights, strongly associated with the petite bourgeoisie, has staged a widely acclaimed play whose politically laden theme makes no secret of the author's desire for the law to be passed. Can you guys imagine, like, what this play is like? It's probably just about people being robbed anywhere they go. So now dedicated police force will be on everyone's lips now, and it's going to increase the chance of that passing. All the way from 10%, guys, where we started, to 24%. Let's call it 25%. Of course, that wants to go ahead and pass this. And there we go. The Conservative Party has won once again. Now we get to pass another reform. And here's the thing. We have been trying to pass dedicated police force forever, but it's not happening. So I think we don't get to choose a reform because this is the current reform we're going for. Let's let it continue. We could stop it and focus on something else. But I'm trying to look, and nothing here really has nearly as much support. Dedicated police force is the most popular thing. The next most popular thing is colonial exploitation, which is going and establishing colonies, and we're not in that position yet. So I'm just going to stay there. Every time that passes, every time that circle is filled, we have a 25% chance to enact it. So I do think it's actually quite likely. Could also go for some additional laws, but again, we are dealing with that dedicated police force before we do anything at all. So this is where we can actually increase the investment level of law enforcement, and I'm going to do that. It's going to take 40 weeks to enact, but I think this is absolutely important. We have to put some money into the police if we want anything out of it. It's already improved our bureaucratic level substantially, so I think we're moving in the right direction. I really do. And this isn't going to improve now, but over time, this construction sector will improve things. I'm going to put one in Pernambuco as well. Maybe one more mill. I know it's dangerous to place these, but yeah, none of these are actually going to lead to an income, sadly. The 82% growth here really makes me want to try and expand the shipyard in Bahia. Might as well put some more government administration in Rio, and we're going to stay out of Bahia for now, but I really want to make sure that we've got a tight control over the people in these provinces. The standard of living is increasing. It's slow, but it is increasing. Despite not enjoying full rights under the Brazilian law, some wealthier Afro-Brazilian people have begun moving into neighborhoods and frequenting establishments they would normally be excluded from. So we may need some new regulations to keep the peace, or they have fairly earned their success with all it entails. I think so. We've worked very, very hard. We are going to bring them into our society. So we could go ahead and declare interest once again, and we're going to do it over here. All right, 25% chance, come on. I want to pass that law, for goodness sakes. We have a dedicated police force. We did it, boys and girls. Finally, the great emperor himself, with the help of the petite bourgeoisie, has, of course, gone ahead and passed the law. That's fantastic. Unfortunately, the election's over. We can't get that free research or that free government focus, but that's still pretty cool. You know, that's not bad. Let's take a look over here. I think this livestock focus is going to pay off. It's going to cost us money initially. Not enough qualifications to fully staff this building. See, this is why we need to go for overall development. Or sorry, just overall construction. No. Tobacco is also not one of our focuses. What about just getting another logging camp? I think we'll hold off for now. We need to increase government administration. So let's throw some over here. São Paulo as well. Power of the purse unlocked, baby. Doesn't really affect us because we're not really using our navy all that much, but that's cool. Belagar says, I was wondering if you know if in China there's Boxer Rebellion in the year 1900. Ooh, we are not there yet, but possibly. Our economy took a little hit there. I think we'll be okay, though. There we go. Back to normal. Gotta love those gold reserves. We have a tremendous amount of gold reserves. Got another construction sector here. What else should we create? Maybe some more maize farms. Just going to look for the potential for growth over here in Rio Grande do Sul. We're going to get a corn farm right there. All right, let's get rid of these unproductive trade routes. So we're going to get rid of the artillery. Pretty much these things that are really losing us substantial money. And even the clothing trade route, you know, before it was actually making us quite a profit, but it's no longer profitable. So we're going to wait a bit. It's only minus 0.2. I still think this will come back over time. But it just goes to show you, you know, that sometimes things that are initially worth a lot of money, they lose that value over time. So with sugar, we're actually going to sell this to the French market. Again, in terms of trade, we are doing damn well here. Same thing with the furniture, unfortunately. A devout scandal. It has been revealed that Januario de Cunha Barbosa of the Catholic Church has been having a secret affair with a member of the clergy. His resignation is being demanded. I am going to say the people must know of his depravity. This guy supports the church. The church is supporting us too, but we've got to be open with the corruption, because, of course, we had a major corruption problem before, and I don't want that happening again. I really don't. Vamos por aqui em Paraná. Santa Catarina também. Another one in Rio, of course. It's a real shame we can't put anything in Minas Gerais. Alright, canneries unlocked. Now, the active research, we want to go for the romanticism. This is what is... or the realism, pardon me. This is what's going to improve our prestige level and likely is going to get us back closer to a major power rank. Oh my goodness, what is going on here? We got a war here. And we've got some tension with Mapuche over here in the south, although we can't get over there. How are we doing with the Paraguayans? Let's declare a rivalry. I really want to go to war with them. Take Paraguay for ourselves. Let's get one of these mills. Again, I want to find something with growing power. Doesn't have to be profitable at first, but it's got to have growth power. We'll put one in Santa Catarina, a furniture factory. So actually, yeah, the term here, everybody asking about the government style. The term is a constitutional empire, which sounds pretty effective to me. Oh, sorry, I gotta throw this at you. That makes sense to me. So, constitutional empire, pretty cool. Let's also try and get some more logging camps. Can never have too many logging camps, but again, I'm going for something that's actually going to increase over time. But also not lose too much money. Yeah, maybe we won't build logging camps. What about gold mines? We got no gold. I have faith in this banana plantation in Paraná. The issue is we don't have enough qualifications to fully staff the building. So we're really focusing or hoping that our population is going to improve. Because we simply don't have that focus at the moment. We really don't. Or that ability to focus. Look at this. Like, every single one of the peasants represented here. Like, true peasants, they don't even have clothing. My goodness. Wow. Yeah, we are definitely not a first world country. I can tell you that much. It's just no way. Alright, a donation of knowledge. Martin Francisco Ribeiro de Andrade has offered to spend some of their personal wealth to fund the creation of a university in Minas Gerais. This will likely give the industrialists some influence. Let's allow it. We need another university. We only have 2 in the entire country. I'm thinking it's only going to improve research, but we'll see what happens. So we are going ahead. Hopefully we'll fully staff that university. It looks like our population is also improving, and we have a very, very low unemployed population. However, quite a high dependent population. So that would be older folks, children, etc., and just people that don't like to work. Vamos beber agua con gas. I want to see that research pass. Let's put another port. Again, there is a massive room for growth here in Parana of the bananas. Look at the massive room for growth of sugar here. So I'm going to throw another sugar plantation in São Paulo. Over 200, or I should say the level of the sugar plantation is 223 here. So we have a lot of sugar here in the São Paulo region. And look how pretty that is. Like, we can actually get up close and personal. This is, of course, just one region of Brazil. But it's looking nice. Let's look for resources here. Unfortunately, no gold mines. We only have 2 there in the Minas Gerais area. I'm looking where we can actually get some iron or coal mines and lead mines as well. You know what? We might invest in some of these. I'm going to put some of those there. I'm going to put a coal mine here in Rio Grande do Sul. And I'm putting a fishing wharf here in Rio de Janeiro. Every single one of those looks like it's going to lose money, but I believe over time that's going to turn around and we're actually going to be making a profit. But that was a hell of a lot of money to invest in a whole bunch of stuff. It's going to come back. It's going to come back. We're using a lot of those gold reserves. As you can see that, those gold reserves are dwindling. So we might need to jump in here and unfortunately bring taxes back up. Maybe even also do some consumption taxes. So we want to look at the things that people like the most. And services, we can put a consumption tax on that. I don't think it would be fair, though. I am going to put a consumption tax on coffee, though. So let's do that. Construction goods. We could go ahead and start switching to iron frame buildings. This is going to increase employment overall. So let's try that, but that's going to cost, I think it's going to cost too much money. Let's just wait a bit for now. And there we go. That economy's coming back. I told you guys it would come back. I told you it would come back. Just going to take some time. We got a little crazy there. Bread, butter, ballot. With the price of grain soaring across the country, the Liberal Party is finding itself under relentless pressure from the opposition, accused of recklessly toying with the welfare of its citizens. So we can lower their momentum or fund soup kitchens. It's going to cost the government a ridiculous amount of money, but it's going to make the poor pretty happy. As they say in Mel Brooks' History of the World, fuck the poor. They're just gonna have to eat something then. I mean, look, we gotta stay afloat, and that, unfortunately, does not involve us making life better for the poor. I'm starting to understand how governments operate now, and why a whole lot of them are just so damn awful, let's be honest. That's a brutal reality right there. We just have to continue. And as you can see, thankfully, we said F the poor, and because of that, look at that, our gold reserves are stabilizing, and our economy is going back to normal. Gee, I wonder why. My goodness. Thank you again, guys, everybody that has stopped by for this stream. I really want to thank you. Again, I figured some people would stop by and take a look, you know, kind of see what the game is all about, and I'm glad you guys did. Before we get off, I am going to try and enact one of these other laws, but please make sure to like this video and, of course, subscribe if you haven't already. If this is something that you guys want to see in the future and you guys want me to keep essentially as a... you know, sort of a live series, that's exactly what I'm going to do with this. Now, I believe we can actually get rid of, change to legacy slavery. This is actually worsening slavery. We could go to slavery banned. It's got 20% support from the population, but we cannot do this yet. We unfortunately need the slaves at this moment to keep things running. Now, the property women focus is something that has 30% support. However, there's 41% indifferent and 27% that oppose it. So we need to try to get those indifferents over here in the positive ranking. I'm going to go ahead and try to enact this. We're going to give women property. We're not letting them vote, though. That is not happening. It would cause massive problems, and actually our people oppose it, I think, by 80%. So we're going to focus on enacting women's property, allow them to get property, of course. And there we go. Let's see if the realism, that's going to unlock some prestige. And we can keep on going down the prestige focus, so I'm going to unlock the camera. Nope, that's going to take 11 years. Screw that. We're going to have to go back and change that. Where is the research? There. I like the central banking. I like the modern sewage as well, and I think this is going to improve our population overall. It still takes 28 months to research, so pretty substantial. +1 max education investment, psychiatry with lower bureaucracy, and increase influence. Egalitarianism is not something I really want to focus on at the moment, but maybe we shouldn't completely neglect our military. Let me focus on field works. We already almost have this unlocked anyway, and it will increase our overall defense. It's not going to do anything for our prestige, but it's going to make our military forces just a little bit stronger. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for stopping by. Like I said, I will try to continue the series. In fact, I will continue the series, but I ask that you please like and comment down below. We'll probably try to do some more tomorrow. And if anybody wants to go ahead and attempt to make like an actual thumbnail for this particular Let's Play, let me know in the Discord channel. I'd love to do it over there. You know, me personally, well, I mean, since this is new, probably Victoria 3, but me personally, I would guess that I'm going to end up enjoying Crusader Kings 3 more, just simply because I prefer dynastic strategy games. It's not saying one is better than the other or anything like that. I will throw you guys another group of ads, and let me share my Twitch channel and my Discord server here with you guys, so that you can find me there. Thank you again, guys. And again, if you do want to see us continue this series, which I would love to, then make sure to let us know by leaving a comment after the video is uploaded. I am going to save this under Viva Brasil. And I think we're doing great. It's just going to take a little longer for us to get up there in the world rankings, getting to major power level. But I think our economy is doing great. We're increasing our gold reserves. It's just a matter of time, really. And we're also about to get property to the women of our country. Let's see if that happens. All right.